I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Oops the Podcast. Giulio Gallerati here. Ryan Lynch by my side.
What's going on?
What is happening? We're out here, dude. The dog days of summer are upon us. Please go watch the Afghanistan docuseries if you haven't watched it. If you started it but haven't finished it, finish it. Let us know what you think. The feedback has been really positive so far. But it's funny, when you work on something that hard, man, and this is it. This is going to be your big piece. This is your big boy. You know what I mean? And you want it to be the thing that does something. It catapults you to some next level, or it performs better than anything you've ever made. It gets you to a place where you can make a bunch of money in the future, something like that, And when none of that happens, there's something like a little sad about that. And I know it's still early in the game. I mean, by the time
it's still very early.
It's still very early. I know. When this episode comes out, it'll have been in the 2-week range that it had been out. Yeah. It's done fairly well. You know what I mean? I mean, people are watching it. I think they're liking it. The school has raised a little bit of money. LocalLiteracyProject.org if you feel like getting in the mix. But I just want it to be my big boy.
Yeah. Yeah. It is your big boy. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
More people should see it.
Yeah.
Than I've already have.
And it can be kind of like frustrating where I'm like, you can't decide what performs well or doesn't, you know what I mean? And it's like, my video of me taking mushrooms and going and hanging out with turtles is like the most viewed video I've ever made. It's a funny video. I will give that to myself. And it is part of my travel stuff. You know what I mean? But like part of that is because people are fighting over the fact about whether or not it's tortoise or turtle. So a stupid fight in the comments, you know what I mean? So a bunch of that kind of stuff can be a little discouraging. But that's the thing about me. And I hate to use the term art because it sounds annoying, but when you're making shit, you have to be making it because you like it, and you can't control how it performs. You just have to know that you feel good about what you made. You know what I mean? I'm not really an algo hacker in my nature. I have to make stuff for the most part that I like and that I believe in. I can't just do stuff because I know it's the thing that's going to make me get the most views.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll be my tragedy downfall. Maybe I'll end up on top with that one. It's hard to say.
Maybe you'll change your mind and next week we'll post a clip where you just put misinformation in the captions and everyone will debate it in the comment section. It'll go viral and then we'll get millions and billions of views.
Yeah, right? Like
that's what goes viral, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. Like the comment section, people fighting over whether it's a turtle or a tortoise. Turtle or
tortoise.
It's dumb.
Yeah, and some of our past Oops clips that have done really well, not exclusively, but I'm thinking back in the day, like the video, there was one where like these kids were throwing peanut M&Ms at my head on the subway. And I never like said too specifically what like race they were. And that started a race war in the comments of people making assumptions about what race I was talking about and all that stuff. Which is great, as the person making the video, like, oh, sick, they're fighting. Let's go. You know what I mean? But, you also don't want to be antagonistic, but it's not like you said, we were making misinformation. It was a sincere attempt at a funny clip. It was a funny clip. Yeah. I almost got beat up by teenagers.
Yeah.
Glad I didn't.
I'll just start throwing debates out there into all of your authentic clips and get the people going.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, so I think on today's rendition of Are You a Turkey? We got a lot of really great responses to the pet peeve question. Mm-hmm. What are your, biggest pet peeves? And I think that we can sort of decide what is noteworthy about these different, but we got hundreds of replies. Thank you guys for being involved in the conversation. And there was just a few that stuck out, and we can kind of decide, like, are the people doing that turkeys? Which of these pet peeves are unique and funny because of that, so we can go through. So I have a list of quite a few here, and I'd like to try to get through them because they're kind of funny.
Okay. Did you bring some of your own as well?
No, because I always sort of have talked about what mine are throughout the years.
Okay.
And I feel like it's potentially a little redundant. So let's not worry about mine specifically for this. But let's read some of these, what these people have said, because you guys know I do keep an ongoing pet peeve list. So anyway, here's some good ones. So we'll start off with Hill Dog, who didn't actually comment, but she has a pretty funny one that I thought was good and that we should share. Inconvenient chivalry is one of her pet peeves, meaning like if you're in the way of the elevator door, I want you to get out of the elevator first. Don't awkwardly move to the back of the elevator so she can get out. If you're standing in front of the elevator, get out of the elevator. That's a pretty funny one because it's funny, dude. Pet peeves are a thing. I find that I do a lot of these. I'm reading them. I'm like, fuck, I'm an annoying bastard. I do that one, but now I don't anymore because she's mentioned that it's annoying. So now I get out first. So anyway, I want to read some of the best ones in addition to that one. So here we go.
That's also a thing on the subway, right by the door.
Oh, like the guy will get out of the door for really? I haven't seen that on the subway as much.
I've seen that.
I'm just not paying attention. This is from, all right, I'm going to give the name credit to everybody who said these. This is from Gelatanya.
Gelatanya.
I don't know what her actual name is. Maybe Tanya.
Jella.
When people let their alarms ring and ring and ring, turn that shit off or wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
You can kind of faintly hear it through your apartment wall sometimes. Somebody else is snoozing hard. I do this one. I snoozed like 19 times the other morning. At one point, Hillary just goes, "Are you fucking serious?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry." The other thing that's funny is whenever I set a new alarm, I usually will like go find an existing one because I've usually set an alarm for that time. And it's funny the different songs that I've used over the years for different alarms. There's a micro prank in there. Hillary hates the song "Let's Get Down to Business," so I made that my alarm once, which is funny. We wake up to a little chuckle.
That's cute.
Honey, are you serious?
I didn't know you could do that.
I'd like to pivot towards a more peaceful alarm, like maybe something with a like a music that sounds like nature.
It's giving Snow White.
It's giving Snow White. I want to be more involved in nature in general. We'll talk more about that later. Back to the pet peeves.
That's great.
I like It's Giving Snow White. This one's from Stephanie. She says she hates when people say, "I'm bad at texting." She's like, "No, you're not bad at texting. You're just a bad person who chose not to respond."
That checks out.
I feel that. There is something funny though, like if somebody doesn't respond to you, there's always this like weird denial where you're like not willing to accept that they just didn't respond because it's like too hard to deal with. So you're like, maybe they just didn't see it. Then I think about myself. I'm like, sometimes I just don't see messages because like I sent a message and I closed my phone, but my phone didn't like close the text out or something. And 6 more messages came in and I never saw them, or you know what I mean? But that is a funny one.
But sometimes the people that are expecting a text back, they don't know when to end a conversation. Like it's always continuing. So I feel like those specific people will take note of that and choose not to respond to them, knowing that they can get back to them later and it's not much of an issue.
Well, that's the beauty of texting. You typically don't need to say bye during it. Exactly. Unless you're just really anxious about knowing that they're going to keep messaging you. But there is some sort of power in not replying right away to a text somehow. I'm not good at it. I typically am just like available. And I find that that's helped me in some ways. Like if people text me to fill in for a spot at one of the comedy clubs, like I typically am at my phone and I'll see it and I reply. You know what I mean? If I'm not replying, I'm probably recording the pod. It's like one of the only times I'm not really looking at my phone. Here's a good one. Jenny, we got here just in time when a line forms behind you. I do that, Jenny.
Yeah. It's an empowering feeling.
That's a true pet peeve because that's not that annoying. Like things that are actually objectively annoying are not pet peeves because that's just annoying. Everybody hates loud sounds. Everybody, you know what I mean? But this is a true pet peeve to me.
So let's define it real quick. So a pet peeve is something that a particular person finds especially annoying.
Okay, that's fine too. But
I had to look up the definition before we came in today.
Read that one more time. Sorry.
Something that a particular person finds especially annoying.
Right. So that could be something annoying, sort of, that they find way more annoying, or something that no one finds annoying that you then find annoying. The thing that's funny about a good pet peeve a lot of the times is sometimes it's something you didn't notice was annoying, and while it still doesn't annoy you, you're like, oh, that's funny. You know what I mean? This is another true pet peeve. Jenny also said that. She goes, when someone goes, after taking a drink.
That's a good one.
You know what I do? I got this from my brother, Alessio, who thought of this as pretty funny. And he takes a sip of water. He goes, water. He says water.
That's silly.
Dude, this is the beauty of this exercise. Some of these are just like, wait, what? This one is, can't stand it when my wife's boyfriend leaves one sip of milk in the carton and then puts it back in the fridge. Your wife's boyfriend? Cool, dude. Shout out to
being
Dylan,
silly.
who's in a poly relationship. He's saying that it's his wife that did it?
No, I'm saying I think he's trying to be silly.
Can't stand it when my wife's boyfriend leaves. Okay, here's a good one. Denise. People going slow in the left passing lane on a highway and being completely unaware or uncaring that they are holding up 20 plus cars behind them. That is the most Big G thing in the world. They made the minimum speed for Big G. Big G will literally go 42 in the left lane.
He's a left lane guy.
And we're like, dude, what are you doing? He'll be telling a story. And we're like, Dad. And he's like, sorry. He like forgets. And I also think there's somewhere in the back of his mind that he thinks by cruising at a slow speed, you're getting the best gas mileage.
Does that check out?
As a pet peeve?
No, the mileage thing.
No idea. But it might, it may.
It feels like it could.
It may. This is from another Ryan. And I like the way he said this. I feel like a dad saying this, but when people leave a door open with the AC on, cool air ain't free, brother.
Or the lights on. That's a big dad pet peeve.
Yeah, these are the thermostat is a very dad thing. This one I kind of relate to from Carly, asking for the aux cord in an Uber.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying.
That's outdated.
We're going 10 blocks. And then the person who's like, the guy's like, you want to connect to Bluetooth? No, dude, we're good.
No.
I've thought about that. Like connecting to the music in the car service has become a little bit archaic. I don't see people doing it as much. You're just like, whatever, dude, just play the hits.
That's a turkey move.
Yeah, turkey move. I feel like there's somewhere in the Uber handbook where they're like, play the hits, dude. There's always like the most popular song I've ever heard on. Like Katy Perry's on.
Katy Perry's a big Uber.
Big Uber song. This is from Katya. Fidgeting with front hair pieces. What does that even mean?
Holding. I
Does that mean like playing with the hair as a girl?
I just think holding on to one string of hair. It's interesting what bothers some people, and some people, like, I'd never thought of that.
I know.
And when if I saw someone doing that, I'd think nothing of it.
Yeah. This one bothers me with Samantha.
Okay.
When people are traveling north and say, I'll come down to see you, or vice versa.
That's fair. I think I say that. I get that incorrectly.
I could see you saying that. I don't mean anything by that. But I could see you saying it.
Geographically challenged. Yeah. So that's interesting. That's funny.
This is from Declan, I think is his name, because he always said, I know this guy, and he's Scottish, and his name is Declan, which I would just normally say Declan, and he says like Declan, but I think that part of that is him having an accent, and I think it's potentially somewhere in the middle. Declan.
Let us know.
Let us know, dude, if you're listening. And I know we have some listeners in the UK, so any Scots over there listening, let us know. When someone clearly sees me walking toward an open elevator that they've just entered and makes no attempt to hold it, or in fact actually tries to make it leave faster. 100%, dude. That is the most savage thing. And I would call that a pet peeve because it's sort of subtle. Yes, trying to make it leave, that maybe annoys everybody, but like no attempt to hold a thing, that's fucked up. It's whack. Agreed. Katie has some good ones. Welcome to my world. It's the rudest thing you can say to somebody, OMG. You are venting about what's bothering you, and the person you're confiding in can't help but belittle you and make it about themselves at the very same time. That was a little confusing, but that is true. I'm like, I'm having the worst day. And I'm like, welcome to my world. It's like...
maybe I don't compare.
They're trying to comfort you by being like, I too go through that. But instead, you're just now making it about you.
One person could be having a tough day at work, and the other person could have had a couple family members die that day. Welcome to my world. They're just not comparable.
Dude, I don't think that's what she meant, but that's okay.
No?
And it could be, but okay, this is what I envision. And you might be right. We can ask her. Katie, let us know if that's what you were thinking. But if you're like, dude, fucking A, man, I drove here from Connecticut. I was stuck on the 5 and 15 bumper to bumper. I couldn't even tell where it was coming from. And I go, welcome to my world. You know, I was sitting on 58th Street for 40 minutes while some cop was picking his ass.
Yeah.
Fucking, you know what I mean?
It can be that, but if someone was like, oh my God, I just had the worst day ever, and then someone says, welcome to my world without knowing what cause them to have the worst day ever.
Right.
As in, someone goes, I just had the worst day ever because a couple family members died. And then a guy said, welcome to my world. Never mind. Cut that. I'm sorry. I realize now. I realize now.
Leave it. Leave it in there. Welcome to my, man.
Fair enough.
Dude, I just love the idea of that scenario because it's so absurd. Hey man, how you doing? I had a couple family members die today. I'd be like, dude, why are you here?
Welcome to my world.
Welcome to my world, dude. My entire family died today.
Maybe he had 3 family members die that day. So that could check out.
Dude, the most fucking the sturdiest workforce of all time. Rain, sleet, or snow, or dead family members. This is a funny one. Gabriella, bad kissers that think they're good because they use a lot of tongue.
That's weird.
Dude, this one made Hillary and I laugh. This is from Margaret. The phrase "in my mind's eye." I've never heard that phrase.
I don't speak to people who talk like that.
Can you look that phrase up? I agree that might annoy me if I knew somebody who said that a lot. She must know someone who says it a lot, and it must annoy her. In my mind's eye. What the fuck does that even mean, dude? But yeah.
If you see something in your mind's eye, you imagine it and have a clear picture of it in your mind.
Yeah, annoying.
In your imagination.
Annoying.
Stupid.
There's a bunch of them about dads watching reels way too loud.
Yeah.
In the TV room, which is pretty funny. This one I thought was really subtle. From W. Lombard. People that run to the door you're holding for them. It completely defeats the purpose of the gesture. You see them, you decide to hold it knowing how far away they are. And they exert more energy than you. Yeah, that's interesting.
I'd say the opposite is also a pet peeve.
He said that too.
When you're far away.
Yeah, he goes, on second thought, I kind of hate the people who hold the door too early too and make you rush to the door. Dude, that one was a solid one. That's a very, very astute observation.
Those people are looking for a thank you.
Dude, this one is great. This made me laugh so hard. And I think you're going to really like this too. No pressure. It's from Ashley. She goes, when strangers approach me, parentheses, a disabled cane user, in public and go, what's wrong with you? Who the fuck is doing that?
That means that this has had to have happened multiple times for it to be.
She said it happens all the time. She continues on. And if you want to see some of these, go to my Instagram post on my reels. There's one there. Hopefully your dad will be watching it way too loud while you're watching TV. But dude, nice. That was good. That was good, right? Dude, I can't imagine seeing a disabled person and asking them what's wrong with you.
Oh, I misinterpreted what you said. I thought the disabled person was going up to the able-bodied person.
No, she's disabled. She uses a cane, and people go up to her and say, what's wrong with you? Oh. Dude, that is so funny. I'm sorry, like, she seemed to have a good sense of humor about it. I would never do. Who are these monsters? Where are you hanging out?
Oh, I couldn't live in this world.
Where are you hanging out where you are encountering people who are coming up to you as you struggle to walk down the street with your cane and ask you, what's wrong with you? That is crazy. Dude, that reminds me of one of the funniest Tom McCaffrey jokes that I don't know if you guys know Tom McCaffrey. He's fucking hilarious. Really funny stand-up comedian. He has a few albums. From his first album, he has a joke. There's some movie called Mask that I've never seen. Like, that's sort of his thing. He like does jokes about like obscure shit, but they're always like hilarious. And I guess in the movie, like the person has like a deformed face and people are like mean to the person because of that. And in his joke, he's like, dude, I can't imagine seeing a deformed person and being mean to them. He's like, it would be like, imagine there's some guy that doesn't have any arms and you're like, dude, what? You don't have any arms? What the fuck? Ew, dude, that's gross. Hey, why don't you put some arms on, man? You're really pissing me off. Like, dude, that is so. Oh. Yeah, exactly. But I cannot believe that people are going up to you and asking that. You deserve to hit them in the face with your cane.
Absolutely.
I think that's self-defense in that situation. This is a good one. Paige. When people say ATM machine and don't realize that the M in ATM stands for machine. Didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
I wonder. I didn't. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Paige.
Now we can be bothered by it.
Yeah. This is another true pet peeve from Garrett. When people leave time on the microwave, dude, who gives a shit? That pisses you off?
He must have a good life.
Yeah, we got a couple more here. Megan, when people say not to be mean, but, and then they say something mean as fuck. I don't know. Yeah, that one's pretty good. From Victor, long lines for mediocre food they saw on TikTok. That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, that is fucking annoying. Dude, I'll see them and I'll just say sheep. Fucking sheep.
The new bagel place, Pop-Up Bagels.
Yeah, dude.
I drove by it the other day.
On Thompson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go there. I drove by and there was just a line around the corner.
Yeah.
A thick line.
Yeah.
You guys all suck.
And it's right near New York Pilates. Because I always walk by it when I'm going to be the inner thigh queen that I am. From John, overly singing rock, like song opera like. I would extend that to be, if you're with a person who's like a singer and like, you know, a song comes on that's like singable, but like, for example, okay, if I was singing if I was singing along to Destiny's Child, you know, I'd say, fuck, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the right song. Okay, ladies, leave your man at home. The club is full of balls and the pocket's still grown. I'm trying to think if I can make the example of this. Yeah, if I was like, ladies, leave your man at home. The club is full of balls. Like the people who do the harmony more than it already is, don't sing more than the song, dude. We know you're a good singer. And if you can't help it, you just happen to be a good singer, don't sing at all.
Just can't help myself.
I just can't. Yeah. God, that was a... Oh, yeah. All right. Here's a better example. That was a really bad one because the nature of that Destiny's Child hook is sort of monotone. But say you're doing...
Say my name?
No, what was the first one? Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bill? If you're singing, maybe, baby, we could chill. I don't think you do.
So what circumstance are they singing?
You on me. Dun. What? No, so you should just be like chill about it, dude. Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my
You're still gonna do the melody though.
Yeah, but you don't have to be so like extra.
Yeah.
This one's from Megan.
Okay.
When people try to tell a story to relate to the story that you just told and don't give your story any credit. That is true. I hate that. They reply to your story with a story.
That basically means that they weren't listening to you. They're just waiting for you to end so that they could one-up you.
Maybe.
That's how I perceive it.
Maybe, and that could be true, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt. It's still the wrong impulse and it's still annoying because it's like you are like, oh, wow, yeah, that happened. That happened to me too. I should tell it. I should tell mine. But you should at least pause first to give that person's story the credit it deserves before being like, that reminds me of my story.
It's like if someone's like, I had 2 family members die. You wait a few seconds. That reminds me of when I had 4 family members die.
No, Ryan always bringing it back to the dark topics. What do you got, Ryan?
This one stems back to middle school, and I don't know why, because I am not very mathematic. But when people say you times it or minus it or plus it by 4, you sound like an idiot, and it really bothers me.
Agreed.
That one just sucks. People that burp in front of you or out loud, especially like if you're in the car.
Not polite.
It's just disgusting. I have to breathe your air. I really hate that.
Can you smell burp? I cannot.
Yeah,
some people can.
I can smell it. So what I do every time someone burps around me in a small, tight space, I hold my breath. I suck in as much of the clean air as possible before the burp breath dissipates into the small amount of air that is we're confined to. I hold my breath and I wait until I visualize in my mind's eye the burp dissipate and come out the window or whatnot. So if you burp around me, I'm gonna like hold my breath because I just don't want to smell it and I don't want to inhale it and I don't want anything to do with it.
It's insane.
And it's disgusting.
Well, dude, that reminds me of 2 things. First of all, and this is not me.
Okay.
Not acknowledging your story and then telling another story. I sat and I engaged and I soaked in what Ryan had to say. I called him weird. And now I'm going to tell an additional thing in regard to burping. This guy, Benny D, I don't know if you've ever met him. He's another comic friend of ours. He can smell the guy's got he's like an aardvark or something, dude. He can smell everything. So you'll burp silently and he'll be like, did you just burp? And you're like, dude, this is your problem now, bro. Like, you're a hypersensitive sniffler. And the other thing it reminds me of is that in the car is like a random time where you can like smell people's breath. And I think that's why people have like mints and gum in the car. I didn't like put those two things together. I don't know if they even consciously know that, if that's just a tradition, but like if you're in the car for too long with somebody, you can start smelling their breath. It's like kind of gross.
Yeah, all the road trips you're on, I'm sure.
I'm usually by myself on those, unfortunately, but I need to. What else you got?
Someone that says that they're down for whatever, but says no to whatever you suggest. What do you want for dinner tonight?
I'm down for whatever.
What about sushi?
Yeah.
All the time.
That's really annoying. You're right.
People who block the front of doors. We kind of talked about that. People that leave gym equipment out and don't put it away.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. It's rude.
What else? People that wear AirPods or headphones while driving. I don't get that. I'm
interesting.
at a red light and I look to my right and I see somebody with 2 AirPods in.
Interesting.
That's very dangerous.
Maybe they're on the phone.
Maybe, but I don't know. And then we'll do one more. People who don't sneeze into their arm.
Oh my God, dude.
In New York City, like people will be like, "Achoo!" and everyone get my germs.
If you're projectile sneezing, you better be homeless or like mentally disabled, for real. Like that's the only time where you have like, you're like, what is this, your home? And you're like, oh, it literally is. This is your home, the sidewalk.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? So I'll give you that one. Fine.
Yeah.
Sneeze out loud, or sneeze everywhere. But like, if you live inside, you shouldn't be sneezing. Yeah. Without covering it. It's disgusting.
The gym one bothers me in my building because we have a gym in our basement, and there was a time where somebody left a ton of equipment out, a bunch of loose dumbbells and free weights, and they left. And I go downstairs and I discover that. And there's a sign, and the one rule in the gym is put your stuff away, clean up after yourself. And our super uses that bathroom in the gym. That's just, the basement is his office and his whole space. And so he goes in there, go to the bathroom every once in a while. I'm in there now. It's just me in the gym. All those loose weights are there. And he sees me with all those loose weights. And now I know that he probably thinks that I brought all those weights out. So I end up putting all the weights away because I don't want to get a talking to. And so that's why it really bothers me, because it happens often. But if I walk out without putting them away, he's going to be like, oh, that must have been Ryan.
But dude, it's true. Like you don't, and then there's an awkward conversation there potentially too, where it's like, you could be like, why didn't you put those away? And you're like,
they're not mine.
You're like, I didn't put them here to begin with. He's like, all right, fine, but we all live in the building. Why not clean them up? And you're like, well, I guess that's true, but then why didn't you clean them up? And he's like, why don't we clean them up together? And you guys make out, dude. Hell yeah. Guys, it is not too late to get in shape for the summer. It simply is not. If you start ripping it right now, September is basically summer. We forget that. I don't know specifically where you live, but here,
the whole month.
October basically is in New York too. Depending on where you guys live, it's never too late to get fit for summer, but it's also never too late to get fit. Use the Novak Djokovic saying, the past is in the past. It has already happened. It doesn't have to shape the future. Don't let your legacy of failing, getting into shape affect you from pursuing it in the future. Do the things you got to do every day to try to attack your fitness and finally get where you want to be. We have started working with a new sponsor called Fitbod. It's an amazing app that helps you shape your workouts. The thing about it that's so cool is that it actually learns from your past workouts. So you tell Fitbod the app what sort of equipment you have access to, and it will plan your workouts for you based around that, which I found to be super duper helpful, because I'm like, okay, I have this, I don't have that, I have this, I don't have that. And then, as we all know, there's a million ways to accomplish the same sort of workouts, but sometimes it can be overwhelming. Like if I don't plan my workout before I go to the gym, or if I don't have somebody do it for me, I spend a lot of time figuring out what to do, and my heart rate goes down and the workout suffers. So Fitbod's really cool for that reason. It'll help you make the perfect workout based on your circumstances. And like I said, as you do these workouts, it improves with its AI function. It improves your workout and also is great at making workouts for the future based on your progress or lack thereof. It is a super, super cool app. I love using it. I have it on my phone right now, and I highly recommend that you guys get in there and use it as well. It's not too late to crush your summer fitness goals. Try Fitbod today. Get 25% off of your subscription, or try the app free at fitbod.me/oops. That's fitbod.me/oops. Dude, I was watching the Logan Paul and Nate Diaz fight, and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun, like novelty combat, like cross combat genre fighting. Jake Paul, you know, is always winning these fights, but he's always fighting like Twilight Year MMA guys. He's never like fighting real boxers. I'd love to see him fight fucking Tyson Fury or like a real fighter. You know what I mean? Not a real fighter, a real boxer. Or try to fight MMA or whatever. It's like not that impressive to see him beat these other famous guys.
Who do you fight on Saturday?
Nate Diaz.
He's pretty legit, right?
He's super legit.
I'm not big on.
He's like an
I don't watch
MMA
a lot.
guy.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And I was kind of like, dude, you know what? You know what I would actually rather see? I'd rather just see them bang each other, dude. This week on pay-per-view, Jake Paul bangs Anderson Silva. I'd be like, no, that I'll pay.
That's not a bad idea.
I'll pay double for that, dude. I'll pay 120 or whatever over the 60. Okay, back to the pet peeves. One of the most surprisingly popular ones that we got was the sound when you bite your fork with your teeth. Like if you take a bite and you actually bite into the fork too, that one crushes a lot of people apparently. I don't understand that one. I'm more of a like nails on the chalkboard, knife on the plate guy, but the teeth one is interesting. One that I really agree with is just the idea of people who walk extremely slow and make it hard to get around them on the sidewalk. Absolutely brutal. And Hillary thought that this one needed to be noted because she thought it was interesting. Okay, so this is from Delaney, and this is when someone I don't know very well says, "You'd love it."
Oh, that's really good.
Very interesting indeed.
Oh, that sounds like a fun night. You two were sifting through these.
We were, yeah.
That
it was
sounds
a lot
like
of fun. It was a lot of fun. So
That's
anyway,
a good one. That's a
here
good
we
one.
are. And dude, so something funny happened in my building the other day that I thought you would get a kick out of. For some reason, when people ask me a question, if I'm not expecting it, sometimes I'll really panic and like not know how to use my brain anymore. And it's this really weird thing that happens to me. And I talk about it in my stand-up a little bit. But this happened in the elevator the other day. And, you know, you guys saw the Afghanistan thing. Like, I was able to answer those questions from the kids in the school well. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I got it and other times I just completely don't. I'm in the elevator, and in my building, they click your floor for you before you get in the elevator. It's pretty fucking, you know,
It's
pretty sweet. So one of the perks of the building, right? So I get in the elevator with this couple, and we're both going to the same floor. And they look at me and they're like, "Oh, you're going there too?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "You live there?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I think I've actually been here longer than them. I think they took an apartment from somebody else. Like they took someone else's lease over or whatever. Anyway, they go, "What apartment?" And I blanked. I just didn't.
No.
I blanked.
I didn't think it was going there.
Dude, I blanked. And I went, you know, and I didn't I didn't answer because I blanked. I was buying myself time to remember where I live. So I was like, you know, down that, I went, you know, down that end of the hall. No, I didn't even do that yet. I went, "We moved in April." I did the politician thing. I didn't answer the question. I answered another question. So they said, "Where do you live?" I said, "We moved in April. We're really loving the building." And they go, "No, but what apartment?" And I go, "That one." Because I know what direction it was in, but I couldn't remember which apartment. And then I go, and I say the wrong apartment. I say the apartment next door to me, dude. And they go, "Oh, are you," they describe the family who lives in that apartment. And I say, "No." And they go, "Oh." And then we get out of the elevator together and we head in the same direction. And I then enter a different apartment.
No.
And dude, I'm like, and there are other people in my age range in this building, but for the most part, it's like a professional looking building. Like, you know, I'm around during the day a lot of the time. I'll walk downstairs, a little disheveled looking. They always bust my balls. Like the doorman will make fun of me, like in a pleasant way. You know, it's funny. But anyway, so I think that they're like worried that there's some sort of weird thing happening in this apartment now. And you just hate to see it.
I would be. That's sus. That's so funny.
Dude, I look forward to seeing them again. And they sort of didn't like, they didn't feel that easy to talk to of people for whatever reason. And I'm sorry, guys, if you end up seeing this, but like, I don't, that's nothing against you. This is my fault for lying for no reason because I'm too stupid to think of what I wanted to say to you. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But dude, you know, I hope I run into them again and I will be like, "Hey, I literally blanked the last time I saw you guys, but I live in this unit, which is next door to you. Not to worry." There's no weird shit going on over there.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know.
I'm
Neighbor
sorry.
stuff is always a thing, dude. Dude, it's funny. I occasionally will go to like log into one of my accounts and there'll be some sort of security question. And it's funny, like when I set up new accounts, I know how cumbersome the selecting of a security question can be, how cumbersome that process can be for your future. You need to pick something that isn't changing. So if it's like, what's your favorite so-and-so? To me, you shouldn't answer that one because it might change. And like, I'll go to open some like old account and it'll be like, what's your favorite pizza topping? So now I'm trying to think of what 2012 me thought because it's different now. I'm a dynamic person. My tastes evolve. I encourage all of you to consider new interests. Don't be married to this thing you've decided is your favorite thing. There's no crime in changing your mind. What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite food? These should be things that potentially change. Unless, you're one of those people who Hillary always says she's always been the same since the day she was born. If you're like that, fine. But like, if you are, I suspect that is not the most common thing. Be open to changing what your favorite thing is. Anyway, favorite movie, favorite this, favorite that, best friend, whatever. These things all change. You should pick things that stay the same. Mother's maiden name, grandmother's, whatever, like some shit like that. So anyway, I was just thinking about that the other day.
Well, what was your favorite pizza topping 10 years ago?
Mushrooms.
What was your favorite pizza topping 10 years ago? Let us know in the comment section.
Yeah.
Cool.
For sure. I don't know. Like now, I don't even know the answer to that. Cheese. The style of pizza that I like changes. Some days I want a grandma slice. Some days I want Sicilian. Some days I want plain cheese. Some days something at that place will just look really good. Here's a pet peeve. The other day I was at a pizza place and some girl is like, I'll take the penne alla vodka slice, but it was just the vodka slice. There was no pasta on it. It's the vodka slice, not the penne alla vodka slice. I don't know if she's just a moron or I suspect that that's a common mistake that people make, the penne alla vodka slice. And also, guys, can we make a printer cartridge that lasts longer than fucking 6 sheets of paper? I feel like I have a printer, big adult energy, and it is constantly running out of ink. We don't even use it for anything. It's literally exclusively used for Hill Dog's returns. She does 4 shipping labels. I don't know if a fucking scan code uses all the ink on the planet, but I think that there's a business to be had with printer cartridges that last significantly longer. Because it's a fucking joke, dude. It's a fucking joke. I'm just going through all my like household things that bother me. The other one is like the duvet cover. I actually learned this from, I think, Barbarian, that the way to put the duvet cover on is by I forget how he did it again.
There's a couple different ways that you can do it, but it is easy once you learn them.
Can you enlighten me?
Putting it inside out and then rolling it into itself.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
the key, right?
Yeah, that's the key.
Men figuring out how to
What's your
do.
peeve with it?
Well, dude, I just hate that even once we've done it right, like you've attached it, you've tied it on, and the way you sleep fucks it up. So like if it rolls off the end of your bed, it becomes bottom heavy. It becomes, big assed duvet cover, and then you have sheet and you're searching for the blanket and it's connected still. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not really going anywhere with that, but that's the thing. All right. Another one that pisses me off, going to a bar that has a dress code. Dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
You've changed my mind on that. You mentioned that on the podcast 100 episodes
so
ago.
So stupid. 100 episodes ago?
Something like that. I remember we're going out and Vic will be like, don't wear a hat. And I'm like, it's New York City. We can wear anything we want.
Whatever we want here.
So
this is a cool place that isn't caught up on fucking bullshit. Like, dude, we were in Atlanta. I love Atlanta. But we tried to go to this bar. I forget what it's called. But it's this, everybody knows it as a MILF bar. If anybody who lives in Atlanta is going to know. I had a hat on and a t-shirt with a logo. And they told me I couldn't come in because of that. There was a guy passed out on the bar. He was sleeping on the bar. And I can't come in because it's just like so stupid, dude. Don't be so rigid with your fucking protocol shit. I don't know. I'm looking forward to get back on the road, dude. It's fun being out there doing the thing. I love, like, dude, Danny. I asked Danny to drive. So I don't know if I'm just like a pussy as a passenger, but like sometimes I get like stressed out when people do reckless driving things. Like if you are driving directly on someone's ass, that's objectively dangerous. And some people are just comfortable doing that. Going too fast, doing this, doing that, whatever. So Danny was like driving fast, which surprised me because he has like a cautious personality and he's suddenly just ripping it. I'm like, dude, Jesus, like wasn't expecting it. Whatever, it's fine. And he keeps being like, oh fuck, was there a cop there? Was that a cop? And I'm like, dude, just don't speed. And he's like, then he goes, dude, I like to speed. And I'm like, you like to speed. And then he just realized how stupid that sounded. We both started laughing. It was a really like nice way to handle it. But like, I don't get the impulse to drive fast, or it's raining and people's brake lights are on. You can barely see through the windshield and you're not pressing the brakes. What are you doing? Danny didn't do that, but like other people that I knew do shit like that. And I think that's why I always drive, because I'm like, don't trust other people's driving. But then I'll be in the car with a good driver and I'm like, see, there you go. It wasn't me. Another one is somebody who's like really heavy footed, who's like braking really hard and you go forward and back, or you go back. It's like, dude, this isn't Cape Canaveral. We're not taking off in our fucking rocket here. There's no need to be ripping it that hard, dude.
Yeah.
I almost got hit by a car the other day, you know.
Here in the city?
I was crossing the street. So it was a 2-lane, I was crossing a 2-lane road, 23rd Street. And 3rd Avenue goes uptown. So this guy driving uptown on 3rd Avenue was making a left onto 23rd. It doesn't necessarily matter that it was a 2-way street. But anyway, he's crossing. I have the walk signal. So he's turning left, but he needs to wait for me to walk. I literally have the white man walking, the white lit up walking signal. I'm crossing the street and he's coming at me and he just keeps coming at me and isn't stopping. I jump out of the way and put my hands on the hood of the car. And he stops. And I'm like, dude, are you fucking serious? And he rolls down his windows. He goes, did you not see me? I'm like, dude, I did, which is why I jumped out of the way, but I shouldn't have to see you. Like, are you serious? And I said some like confrontational shit to him. I was like, you're a fucking moron.
Nice.
I was like,
nice.
I was like, you almost just ruined your life. You know?
Yeah.
And that's true, because my life may have been ruined too, but if I got hit and it didn't hurt me, I would be the one getting all the money there, dude.
Oh yeah.
This is America. You can sue over fucking anything here.
Getting hit by a car would be pretty sick.
Dude, and he kept, like if you didn't get injured at all.
If you
Yes,
don't get
thank you.
injured.
Thank you for clarifying. And then this guy's like totally gaslighting me. And I'm going through my head, like thinking about it. I'm like, was I wrong there? Like, was I? And then some girl walking behind me goes, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, Jesus, that guy's so fucking stupid. And I was like, thank you. And then I was like, wow, this is funny. Like if I were single right now, like me and this girl would probably end up going on a date. That's a very classic, like, how did you meet?
Yeah.
Situation potentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ripping through these mean streets in New York City. But you got to be careful. And I was having a pretty fucking bad day when that happened. And it's nice to have little perspective building moments. If for nothing else, so Hillary sent me this meme that was like a guy, a person being like, the depression leaving my body when I visit another country. And there's a few different ways you can interpret that. And we were kind of going through what those different things are. What I took that as is you travel other places and sometimes you can see that you're grateful for the life you have back at home because of shortcomings at the place that you've just visited. That's one thing. Secondly, is you're just stepping outside of your routine. Therefore, it gives you sort of like headspace to think about other things besides your daily stressful, packed life and day. Your constant to-do list. Your constant trying to get as far as you can in life before you fucking die of failure. You know what I mean? So there's those two things. But she also was thinking about it like this, like if something scary happens in the news in America, or like there's like a ton of fucking school shootings that week, which is every week apparently, according to the statistics, then, you know, seeing that another place is safer can make her feel better. So I thought that was like an interesting, very complicated thing. But I do find that the travel, that is one of the things that I like the most about traveling, the perspective you get, you know, spending that time. I remember, so a lot of people ask about solo travel, and I've always said that it makes sense to, if you're going to do it in a way where you end up with people you know. If you do an entire trip alone, granted you can like meet people, but like, I don't know, that seems tiresome to like going out there attempting to meet people, right? It's like, it seems like something I don't want to be doing in an ideal scenario on vacation all the time. I don't know. But like I did a trip once that I thought is great, and I highly recommend this as a hack for traveling. So if you're going somewhere that requires you to take a layover, a lot of the time places offer extended layovers. So especially if you're like flying on the airline of that country or something, they have little initiatives to boost tourism where if you're connecting through their place, you can stay there as long as you want and it won't like affect the price of your flight. So I've done that a few times and I try to whenever I can. So when we went to Nicaragua, which is a video I'm now editing, I've just begun. It's going to take me a bit, but we flew on the Panamanian airline or whatever, and it allowed us to take as long of a layover as we wanted in Panama. Copa is the name of the airline. So we did that. That was super fun. We made a video there. And then we did the same thing coming back through El Salvador, where we spent the entire day in El Salvador. It was super fun. The first time I did that was going to Brazil. I had like 15-hour layovers in Peru on the way back and Colombia on the way down. And I just spent the entire day in their capital cities, in Lima and Bogota, had a great time, and then met a bunch of friends in Brazil and had like a completely memorable time. So I think that's a pretty effective way to do that. So dude, this is sort of a funny predicament and it's a question because it's sort of unique. I think I maybe talked about this on the pod one time, but so my current doctor, she's leaving and taking another job somewhere else. She's the nurse practitioner technically, but like if I need a prescription refill, whatever, like nurse practitioner can typically do most of your like family physician duties for you. You know what I mean? So I consider her a doctor. I'm sure that real doctors are going to be pissed about that. I get that there's a big difference, but whatever. Effectively, she's the one writing the prescriptions. She comes in the office and checks on me after the nurse does the vitals or whatever. She is hot, dude. Like really, really hot in like a conventional way. So, and I'm not even being weird about this. She won like Ms. Kansas or something. She's a literal beauty queen. And she, you know, dresses hot too, dude. She wears like really tight clothes, but like, and I'm not even saying that I am qualified to say what's appropriate to be wearing, but like it's appropriate. She doesn't look inappropriate, but I'm like, okay. Damn, like this is a hot doctor, hot nurse practitioner. What are the rules on that? Are there rules on that? I don't think so. But like, it's an interesting thing. You know what I mean? Like if she's giving me my physical and I know this is like a hacky bit, like, you know, you have to pull your pants down, whatever. Obviously I'm not going to like have an embarrassing situation going down. I'm an adult. You know what I mean? Like I'm fine on all of that. But like it fucks with your head a little bit. Cause I'm like, normally I'd small talk with my doctor a little bit, but I'm afraid to with her cause it seems like I'm flirting or something. And she's used to like guys probably trying to flirt with her. And like, that must be difficult for her. She wants to be taken seriously in this new role. As a doctor and, you know, guys are hitting on her and shit. But it's just, dude, I've never seen anything like it. And she's leaving the job now and, you know, doing some sort of remote work or whatever. But it's an interesting predicament.
Was that by chance that you were connected with her or did you have some options and you chose her?
So I just have to go in to do my prescription refill for the medicine I take. ADD medicine, spoiler alert. But I have to physically go in because there's some laws about it or whatever. So it doesn't matter who I see. Anybody can refill. I take a formalized survey thing about how it's working. As long as I pass whatever that is, I then get the refill again.
But how are you two acquainted?
We're not. She just happened to be assigned to me. They're like,
got it.
The nurse practitioner is going to see you today. Okay.
Got it.
And then she walks in and I'm like, Jesus, dude, like that is crazy. I'll show you when we're off air. So I don't know. Is there anything like Hillary thought that was like the idea of that was funny. Because there's like people who are obviously attractive and then there's like a person who's like, who can't hide in their, and it's not because they're more attractive. They just have like a type of attractiveness that's like more obvious. You know what I mean? And I don't think one is greater than the other. It's like, I guess a style thing, but she's just like a classic looking beauty queen type of person who also like dude, I don't know. Is this sounding weird?
I don't know. I'm like excited. I don't know. I'm excited hearing more about the doctor. I don't know. That's a powerful position.
It's awesome.
That's
good
really,
for her.
it's very sexy.
What?
Also, doctors don't check the PPE like when you're an adult.
They don't?
No.
They don't do the hernia cough?
No, I haven't gotten that the last couple
I got
times
it.
I've gone in.
You haven't gotten it?
No.
They don't go cough? Did
No.
you used to do the cough?
I used to do the cough.
For anybody who doesn't know, women or people who don't go to the doctor. They make you pull down they make you pull down your pants, and they hold your scrotum. They don't clump it into a ball of
It's like
penis.
placing grapes onto a scale at the grocery store. It's very light.
It's light.
Just palm.
They embrace your testicles.
Embrace.
Use the scientific term, not to give everybody the ick at the end of the episode here. And they ask you to cough, and that is some indication as to whether or not you have a hernia. It's a very professional encounter. If you are cold or nervous and not showing your finest form, that's not embarrassing. You're at the doctor. This is science. Now, if you had a hot doctor, though, would you be embarrassed to be not showing your finest performance at the time? Would you prefer to be fluffed up a little bit if you knew you had a hot doctor? I'm wondering. I'm not saying that that's what I think.
I'll be too overwhelmed to even think about a fluff or anything like that.
I think
Is that what you're asking?
Well,
Maybe not.
No, it is. It is. That's your reaction to the scenario.
Yeah.
To me, I would like to maybe be presentable, more so for an attractive doctor.
Maybe manscape before.
Maybe manscape, but I'm not like a hairy guy, so my grooming process is not that complicated. But I would like to be sort of in the 70th percentile of my size range during that encounter, to say it tactfully. One time I was getting an ultrasound on my region because we were just making sure everything was good. I had some soreness, and we thought that perhaps I might have some sort of thing. So they gave me an ultrasound, and I don't know if you guys have had an ultrasound before, but it's very warm and gooey. And in getting the ultrasound, I began to instinctively become, erect.
You're getting lubed up.
And I was embarrassed.
That's fine. That makes sense. It's just funny.
Everyone was. I think that the nurse was uncomfortable. I couldn't help it.
I'm sure.
And I wasn't attracted. It wasn't a hot scenario. It happened.
Something about the air. There's different variables that can lead to that.
If there are any doctors who listen, I'm curious if you've ever gone to do the hernia test and somebody is just packing a full, midnight facing heater in your face. And what happens there? Do you just pretend that that's not what's happening and just do it? Or does no one say anything? Does the person go, sorry? Do you go, oh, well, maybe let's wait a sec.
Or they're like, nice.
Or they're like, hey, doc, sorry, I took a samurai last night to try to, have a nice night with my wife. It was our one night where the kids were with the babysitter and I wanted to give her the good stuff. And, or maybe they're like, sorry, doc, I have penis implants and it means that I'm semi-erect at all times. I've heard that's right.
I bet real doctors have tuned us out and they're just like, oh, it's nothing. We think nothing of it.
A full fucking
pulsing,
fat erection in their face. Why don't you go ahead and drop your shorts? And there's just a Excalibur.
It's also very quick too. So like they could do it very quickly, 5 seconds. I don't know. I don't know. Let us know if I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm uncomfortable. I don't know what to say.
Tell us your stories about that if you have one. Yeah, well, guys, if you're a doctor, let us know if you have ever had any weird things with like patients being erect when you went to check their nether regions. Oops, the podcast, you know where to find us. We might do a little deluxe drop at the beginning of the fall, the end of the summer. We have a couple designs that we're holding back that are pretty sick. So keep your eyes peeled for those. oopsthepodcast@gmail.com for your emails. We love hearing from you. Give us a like, a comment, subscribe, all that stuff. It really helps us a lot. We've really enjoyed the new iteration of the pod. And check out the Afghanistan series. That is all. See you in Detroit. Bye-bye.